Hi, Cris Boston here, the host of the Roger That Chronicles and CEO of the Veterans Network Association. I'd like to take a few moments to talk about our veterans and a little bit about our organization. We use a proactive and progressive approach as we empower and equip veterans as they're transitioning from the military with the skills and support needed to live healthy, purposeful, and successful lives. I started the organization because as a Marine mom, I have seen these firsthand challenges, both emotional and mental, that a veteran can go through. Our mission is simple: to help save lives by providing community, workshops, and support for both the veterans and their families. Together, we are empowering veterans for a stronger future. Thanks for listening. Be sure to listen to one of our Roger That Chronicles episodes. And for more information about us, go ahead and scan the QR code above. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, this is Cris, Veterans Network Association, CEO and host of Roger That Chronicles. So I have Josh with me today. Woo-hoo, how are you, Josh?
I'm good. How are you?
We're kind of wound up today. We've got some. I'm fine, thank you. We've got some visitors with us today. We've got Mathius with the VFW, and we've got Rick with the Marine Corps League. He's the commandant. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Obviously, we're not having a serious conversation here today because we can't get it together. Well, it was the Marine Corps birthday last night. Happy 250th birthday.
Thank
Hurrah.
you. Thank you. Yeah. 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps, but don't forget this is the 250th birthday year of the United States Army and the United States Navy as well.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
and it is a correction. It is tomorrow is the birthday, correct, not yesterday. Correct. Sorry.
Yep.
Today's just a lot of celebrations yesterday.
Today's the night. Tomorrow's the 10th.
That's right.
There you go.
This is the pregame.
The pre. That's right.
Yesterday was the pregame.
They celebrate the whole month.
Right.
The whole month is their birthday.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but they gave me the first thing I got when I came in the door was my box of crayons. Yeah. And I told them I like the purple ones best.
Well, Josh, thank you again. You're Veterans Path to Hope, and you guys are sponsoring the show today. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, we're here to have a good show, talk about what the Marine Corps League, VFW, are doing at district level and beyond, and also how that comes down to the post and how we're able to distribute it out to the other veterans. Hopefully we get some good pucker factor stories, so we'll be able to share some of those around the table. And we look to be able to share a lot of good resources. Rick, seeing as the Marine Corps birthday was or the celebration was yesterday, we'll start off with you. You were a Marine, you are a Marine, and once you got out of service, you did a lot of other things to include going and being a police officer in Canada.
Yes, it was.
So you've done a lot of really immaculate things, and then coming up to present. Last year you did Dancing with the Stars campground event. That was phenomenal.
It was Salute Under the Stars.
Salute under, not Dance
Wasn't
Under the
Dancing
Stars.
with the
Sorry,
Stars.
That was on Facebook.
That was on Facebook.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
was singing
stuck
Under
on
the
the video of dancing and you karaokeing. You're a star. You're a rising star.
I know what got it confused there, and Mathius can tell you about this. I put on a short little video. I didn't know it. My wife was videotaping me, but I was singing, "Come and get your love." And the next thing you know, it was posted on Facebook with me dancing around like an idiot. And of course, Mathius got a chance to see it. And
Right.
that's what's causing the confusion.
Yeah,
it was
dancing.
the salute under the stars, not Dancing Under the Stars.
Salute under the stars.
So
Right.
if you haven't seen the video, go ahead and look up.
Dancing Marine.
Dancing Marine. Right. And we've had a lot of great conversations at Friday's Coffee, and just you and me personally having really good conversations about where you think or where you would like to see organizations with collaboration go from here and into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I've learned over the last several years, and particularly in a lot of cases over the last year, is that when you look at veterans groups, the VFW, the American Legions, the different rider groups, and so forth, we tend to work our little missions independent of one another. And one thing I kind of figured out was that when we collaborate and we collectively work, we can have a far larger impact on the assistance that's needed in the veterans community in a general sense.
Absolutely.
So our connecting with the Veterans Path to Hope, with the American Legion, with Mathius and his group and so forth. I think you're the district commandant or district commander.
Yeah, for the VFW.
Yeah, of the VFW. So and I'm the district commandant of the Marine Corps League 2nd District for the state of Illinois, and so we collaborate on a lot of things. We get together on Fridays for a quick coffee for an hour or so. We discuss what's going on, such as the Gold Star Project and you name it. And it's very impactful when we work together.
It's nice because I feel like in the past, like you mentioned, everybody was very siloed, and it's like they didn't want to work together. But now when we're all very close, all the leadership in the area very close, you're able to see that we're all different pieces to the same puzzle. And we're all able to come together, and there are things that the American Legion can do that the VFW can't do, etc. So I think last year was an amazing example. You were able to help out when we had some people that were looking for gifts, things like that. Your connection with Toys for Tots and the VFW stepped in, American Legion, and it was it's awesome to see all the different organizations work well together. And I bring that up all the time at the district level. I'm in charge of 14 posts, and I love McHenry County, just talking to them about how everyone works very, very close together.
Right. It's awesome. It's a phenomenal experience to work with the various, our jurisdiction isn't like just McHenry. Our jurisdiction in the Marine Corps League is countywide. So we're connected to Harvard, to Richmond, to Crystal Lake, Woodstock. And so as a result of that, now what we've been doing is pretty much working in our own little crew. We're just doing our own little thing. But this past year or two, we started reaching out and working with the other groups throughout the county. And as a result of that, a lot more veterans received a lot more connective assistance than what. You know what? Go back to when you joined the military. How old were you? 18?
17
years old? You probably never even wrote a resume. So the next thing you know, you go into the military, and at 17, by the time you're 19, you're already in charge of people. You're already moving equipment. Next thing you know, you're 20 or 21. You're in charge of multi-million dollars worth of equipment. You're managing and moving a lot of people. The skill sets that you learn at a very young age, the leadership principles and the strategies that you learned how to make people do things. And it's not, you don't hide behind your rank. You are your rank. You are that, you bring personality to it. And the next thing you know, you get out. Well, while you're in the military, you make all of these amazing connections. And the connection is based on the mission. You get up in the morning, you have a reason to get up in the morning. You have people that you're working with that are counting on you and you're counting on them. It's a teamwork effort and so forth. Everybody understands the team. And then all of a sudden you get out and you lose that connection. That is the crazy part. When you get out, you're starting all over again. You're getting a job at McDonald's. It's a startup job like you just got out of high school. Can you imagine the stress, the letdown, and the feeling of the internal thing that you get where you feel like, oh man, I'm invisible. And so to me, that's where we come in. In our groups, we come in the sense that, hey, Marine, hey, soldier, hey, sailor, come on in here. We know who you are. You don't have to put on that mask, because you go and you start telling your war stories to your family members and they go, oh yeah, right. And your friends go, you didn't do that. And you come to us, we know who you are. You can take off that mask, you can be real. And the next thing you know, you're getting that interpretation. You're reevaluating. You're bringing an interpretive element. You can take that transferable skill and translate that into a civilian successful.
I think that's one of the things that getting out of the military, the veterans have a difficult transcribing that into, civilian form of leadership. I mean, there's leadership courses in the military. There's a lot of different things, even if you're not doing a leadership course, but you're part of, junior leadership.
Right.
There's a lot of things that you take on that in the civilian world isn't really, it's not their position. You know what I mean? So like, let's say like a regular manager isn't a store manager, but when you're a junior leadership, you're a store manager, you're a district manager, you're all the managers. As when the information gets brought down to you, and so you don't know in that level, other than you have to tell somebody above you, a higher listed leadership what you're doing.
You think about it, and I can only speak of myself in terms of this, but I know this is translated with most veterans. Here I was, 21 years old, as sergeant. I had 49 instructors. We had 100 students, 200 students, back to back training. We're training students. We're putting together training programs. We're firing 50 caliber machine guns. So we're thinking about, if we're out at the range, we need an ambulatory, we need ammo, we need food. We're got a 21-year-old kid doing that. Try to find a 21-year-old kid, even if he's in college, try to organize something like that.
Right.
You won't find it, but you got that. Next thing you know, 21 and a half, 22 years old, speaking of myself, I'm at an embassy. And what is my job? Protect all of the people's lives that are in that embassy against what? Terrorism and so forth. You're protecting classified material. You're watching that building facility. You're protecting high-level dignitaries. And so you name it, you got all these crazy responsibilities. Now you get out and you'll work for U-Haul.
Yeah.
And I'm like, imagine that punch in the face. Your confusion is, and you come back and you tell people, hey, this is what happened. This is what happened there. This terrorist group was involved in that. Oh, yeah, well, you weren't a part of that. Oh, yeah, I was.
I definitely think it's a humbling, situation that occurs when you do get out. Like for myself, I got out and couldn't find a job. Well, a gainful employment job right off the jump. And then when I finally found one, unfortunately for myself, I had barriers and circumstances, and driving to Chicago to have a good paying job just was eating away at me. It made it very difficult because of the traffic and stuff like that. You go one day, you're in Iraq and there's no traffic and everybody gets out of the way. And then the very next day, you're coming home to everybody cutting you off, going slow, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, if I was in my MRAP."
Yeah.
So, it's a humbling experience to come back and become a civilian especially for myself, being infantry and being a team leader and stuff like that. I didn't know how to translate that into civilian
let me tell you exactly.
description.
When I got out, my ex-wife, now she said, "You need
Now,
to
is
write
this
a
going to be
resume."
a pucker factor story because you said ex-wife? No pucker factor.
No, I won't get involved in that. That's I'll avoid the pucker factor things. You know.
No, we want the pucker factor.
He told me a little while ago, it's a pucker factor. I said, if you do that, you're gonna have to pick it up. Anyway, anyway, what was I saying? My first resume that I wrote up, I said, okay, what did I do? Well, I could shoot a 45 caliber pistol. I could shoot a man's head off at 500 yards with an M16, and I could think about mines. I fired a 48 tank and an M48, and I gave this guy this resume, and he goes, uh-huh. Look at me, he goes, well, if I need a hitman, I'll give you a call. And I had no idea how to describe those other transferable skills that made sense to the video. All I knew was those little things that I did. It's like taking apart your rifle. You knew all of the components, but you fail to remember it's an M16.
Right.
So, but I know the trigger guard and all this at a firing pin, but that's what I was doing rather than looking at it from an overall picture sort of thing. And that's where we need help. This is where we come in as a veterans group.
Right.
We see it. And as soon as the guy starts talking, we start helping him out with his resume.
Right.
And we're saying, oh, yeah, you did leadership. Okay, yeah. It's not just a leadership training. It's the actual practical application of leadership. That's where that's where we come in.
How about you, Mathius?
Yeah.
Oh, coming out. So as soon as I got out, 2 weeks later, I started college. So, I mean, I didn't work for a while. I worked as a bouncer, but that's pretty much it. I was a camp counselor and a bouncer. When I came back, big difference. And then I think the first summer I came home, I worked at Victoria's Secret. I thought that was going to be fun. It wasn't as fun as it sounded like it was going to be. I think I was the first guy that ever worked at Victoria's Secret at the mall there. Out of the military to Victoria's Secret.
I'm not going to talk about that.
They used to mess with me. I'd have like the headphone, and then they'd be like, "Mathius, we need help in the fitting room." I was like, shh. And as soon as I got there, they're like, "Oh, we're just messing with you." And it got boring after a while. It's very hard to fold thongs. It's like just a little package. But no, so it took a while. I went to school, and then I was like everybody else. I didn't have purpose, didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I didn't want to be in the military anymore at that time. And I actually tried to go back in. I tried to go back in because I couldn't deal with just being a civilian, and I felt like I didn't fit in. And it was weird because you come home, everybody else that's your age, it felt like they were ahead of you. It felt like you were back. But people like to use that analogy of like an arrow, right? And so I thought that I was behind everybody, but it was more of a, pulling you back to like shoot you forward. Or my dad used to say it was like a NASCAR when people stop to get gas. People are passing you. Yeah, pit stop. Yeah. So, I mean, it took a little change of mindset. But yeah. So, I mean, I didn't have that where I went directly into a job. I did 4 years of school, and then I got a very low paying job after that. So I went in. They told me to ask for everything, and they were like, shoot for the moon. So I asked for, I think my first job, I asked for $55,000 working at a bank. I asked for a cell phone. I asked for all this stuff. And then after he stopped laughing at me, he said 28,000 was what he offered. I was like, I'll take it. So, but what was nice was working in banking. And I talked about this the other day to somebody that also worked in banking. Being hyper vigilant when you work at a bank actually helped. Because what they learned over time is like the banks that people rob are the ones that people have their heads down and they don't pay attention. And I was kind of like this, where there might be a door on that side, door on this side. And anyone that walked in, I would jump up and I would greet them. And we saw in the footage, there was a guy that actually had a gun on him. And but he saw how active we were at paying attention and stuff like that. And he never came back. which was really cool. But because of that, and because I hated traffic, like you said, and I lived an hour and a half away from work. And instead of being in that stop and go traffic, I left my house at 5:30 in the morning, even though I didn't have to be there till 9. So I would get there super early, but I moved up really quick because of my hypervigilance and because I hated traffic. They just thought I was a really good employee when in fact I just didn't want to be in traffic. So I stayed late, I left early, and I was very vigilant, but it was just the issues that I had that just made me feel like I was doing a great job. So I did that for a while.
Gotta love it.
I mean, hypervigilance has helped, a lot of veterans when they get out of the service, depending on what kind of positions they go into. First responders, for one, banking. Those things that we learn in the military, they help us without us even really knowing it. But then when you get out of those hypervigilant jobs, you're still hypervigilant and you look like you're like, something's going to happen. Then the real issues start coming out. I believe, because now you don't have that job where you have to be hypervigilant. Now you're just being hypervigilant. And I think it definitely changes the aspect of things sometimes.
Well, part of it too is finding your niche when you come out.
Right.
So like you went into law enforcement, so you continued being vigilant because you need to in law enforcement, and a lot of veterans, they'll do like the contract work.
Yeah.
So it's still that type of environment.
Just changing outfits. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's just like finding out what you're wanting and who you are again without the uniform.
Right.
So were you a Mountie with the big hats?
In his holster, he had syrup, maple.
He was really polite. Sir, can you please put the money back, sir?
I worked with Dartmouth Police, and we were amalgamated later on in the Halifax Regional Police. So I say Halifax Regional Police. I wasn't a Mountie. Those were like the Mounties were like your state troopers, really, and they were out in the county.
Okay.
And so they were a federal police, but they had all of the attributes like the crime labs and the scientists and everything else. So they were federally chartered, but they were the connective force throughout the country historically from the 1850s and so on. They're the ones that went up and maintained law and order in Saskatchewan and up north in the Northwest territories and this and that. And so the Mounties still maintain that sort of a tradition. So they're a higher force. Everyone's salary was based on what they did and everything else. But I worked as a city police officer. So, they might get like 5 criminal codes charges a month. I'd get like 30, so we were a lot busier than they were, so. But that answered the question.
Because they were out on the horses.
They actually drive cars.
No,
They really do have drive cars. In contrast to that, you want to pick on this. There was a young police officer I was talking to in southern Missouri. He goes, "You're a police officer in Canada?" I said, "I was." He goes, "Is it cold up there right now?" And it was July. I went, "You wouldn't believe how cold it is." I said, "It's so cold when you hit that radio. You know how that radio walks out that radio wave? You can hear the radio waves crinkling in the snow in the cold air. It doesn't even make it to a radio." He goes, "Well, how do y'all communicate?" "Smoke signals." And this kid was going like, "Huh?" So yeah, so I can play too.
Well, Mathias, when you got out of the service and you went out of college, fast forward to now, time frame of working as an outreach coordinator and also creating your own book, being a district commander. I mean, speaking of hypervigilance, your book really explains a lot of that to the younger minds, and I think that's a phenomenal idea. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So I was working at Veterans Path to Hope, and unfortunately we lost some people on my caseload, and then one of my buddies took his own life, and I was struggling really hard at that moment. And I at that moment in my life, I never got help. Because I thought I was good like everybody else. You know, I feel like mental health is very much like a bell-shaped curve. So you have most people that fall in the middle, like us, that look totally fine, that are able to go to work and come home. You know, at some organizations like Veterans Path to Hope, you might be working with the part that haven't worked in a while, or maybe are struggling. And then you have ones that I don't see very often that are doing amazing work, that are doing great. I have a couple of buddies that are doing great like that, but we all fall in the middle, I feel like. And so I for all intents and purposes, I looked like I was doing fine. And I was until I lost a lot of people in 1 year, and I was struggling. I reached out to the VA, and I feel like we have some great VAs in Illinois, but when I needed them, unfortunately they weren't there. They were 2 months behind on doing intake. So I remembered hearing about Road Home because of the groups that Veterans Path to Hope would have, and they would invite organizations to come and speak and things like that. And so I called up the outreach coordinator at the time and said, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody." And within an hour, I was able to get an intake. And by the next day, I was able to get help. So they saved my life. And it's kind of funny, kind of not. It's funny because I'm still here, so that's why it's so funny. So I waited. I started getting help at at Road Home program. And then there was a job opening, and I jumped at it because I wanted to help others. And I saw the value in this organization. And my first week there, I got a phone call from the VA. This was months later. And they were like, "Do you still, we got a referral. Do you still want to do an intake for mental health?" And I was laughing. I said, "I know it's not you. You guys are inundated, but I wouldn't be here if I still waited for you. Like if I was waiting on you, I wouldn't be here." But shortly after, there was a military appreciation night at the Chicago Wolves game, which is actually going on this Sunday, I believe. Today, maybe. I think it was going on today, but or next week. But anyway, it was on a Sunday. I saw it on a billboard today when I was driving home from Chicago, and it just jogged my memory. But I was there, and we had a table, and they encouraged me to bring my son. He was young; he was 3. And he was on my shoulders, and so they brought me out to the glass, and they started doing fireworks. For a lot of us, military veterans, men in general, I feel like when you get to a point where you have issues, you kind of just push them down, you ignore them, you change the subject or whatever. So as soon as I was having issues, I turned around, tried to leave, but my son was like, "Daddy, I want to watch it." So I just kind of grinned and bared it. And so right afterward, I realized that it's important to actually have that communication opened up with your kid. And I know I've told this story before actually on here, but that's why I wrote the book. You know, it's hard to talk to another adult about the worst time in your life, let alone a child that doesn't understand fear. So trying to figure out a way that was like palatable for a little kid without giving them trauma. Because that was a hard instead of sheep, soldier's way.
Instead of sheep.
Yeah, a soldier's way of explaining PTSD to his son.
Really good.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and it rhymes, so it's like the kids like it, the adults like it.
Right on.
It was.
It has a bunch of pictures. You would like it.
But you can't color in it.
So
No coloring in it though.
So I got. I only had one. We were thinking about making one that didn't have color, so the Marines could fill it in.
It's a really powerful book. I cried when I read it.
I appreciate it. I got 1 4-star out of 5, and the lady was nice enough to reach out to me, and she said, "I'm a retired teacher. In all consciousness, I couldn't give you a 5. You had 3 grammatical errors." I said, with all due respect, it was written by a soldier. It was illustrated by a soldier, and it was proofread by a Marine. You should be glad that it even makes sense. And I told her I already fixed it. You had the first copy. So I said I already fixed it. Would you fix your rating? And she said no. So I was like, fine. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to age up the characters, talk about bigger things. So I took a little break from it, and I just enjoyed watching my son get a little older. Now that he's a little older, we periodically go back to it, and I feel like we go back to it, and he asks more questions, and he recently has been asking a little more about my time in service. And it's hard to talk to little kids about that kind of stuff. And they obviously, there's a lot of benefit to art therapy and music therapy and wind therapy and all these different things, because people need another outlet, and sometimes talking isn't it. So I know personally, I do a lot better when I was part of Road Home program. They gave me a mask, and on the outside they wanted me to depict what I thought society, or how society sees me, what I think how society sees me, and on the inside how I see myself. That was so impactful, and it was sad, and but I was able to do it and then speak about it versus just have that conversation with people. And I think the book, the next book is going to be talking about moral injury, which hurts a lot of us, just especially being a parent. It's so easy to explain to our children that you're a good person that made a mistake. But it's so hard for us to look back at ourselves and realize that we're good people that also made maybe a mistake or did something we weren't proud of. That shame and guilt that we all hold. It's difficult to forgive yourself, especially if you grew up Catholic. And so
these are the things that build character, though.
Yeah.
We learn from it, we advance, we grow. So sorry.
You said that you've gone back and read the story again with your son.
Yeah.
When you go back and read it, do you see places where you have progressed, that you're not in that same place anymore?
100%. 100%. And I know you all feel this. I'm sure you feel the same way. But when you look at somebody that was at the exact, when I see somebody and they're at that point where they're about to reach out for help, or maybe they're struggling, and it's like you see yourself in them. Like, I was there. I know it gets better. Like, you got to believe me. And it's hard. It's hard because I had those people in my life that were like, it gets better. And it's like, you're so narrow-minded when you're going through something to just think like, you don't know what you're talking about.
And it's like being in survival mode. For myself, I can, about a decade ago, I'd say I was pretty feral. So, it's survival mode. I feel, because even for myself, when even asking for help, feel guilty asking for it. Much less when someone's like, "Hey, we can help you," and it's like, "No, I got bills to pay. I got this to do." I can come up with a million excuses not to help myself out. But here I am, now sharing with other younger veterans, like, "Hey, you should get help." And in the back of my head, I'm kicking myself, like, "Hey, you should have listened to your own advice, and you should have gotten help, a decade ago."
One of my favorite things is actually something that I think all of us are gonna be doing around Veterans Day, is going to schools.
Yep.
So. When I first started as an outreach coordinator, we went to high schools, and I was like, what are we going to talk about? Right. And so questions were asked. And the thing is, when you talk about mental health and you open up and you're vulnerable, other people take that and they actually will reach out for help themselves. And that's something that I never saw before, because I wasn't special forces. I wasn't like the tough guy. I'm just a normal person that just was put in a scenario that probably wasn't the typical that everybody has gone through. And for me, it just took a long time for me to get back to that, whatever that normal is. And what I realize is when we go to schools and we talk about it and we're vulnerable, sometimes it takes people to look at someone that they view as strong being vulnerable in order for them to then open up. And it was really nice to talk to the counselors at the schools, and they were like, after you guys left, the uptick, especially during COVID, the uptick of people that were suffering from mental health, these kids, they finally reached out for help because of us. So I'm excited that I was invited by you to go and support the local high school so that they can ask questions. And I allow all questions to be asked. Like, it used to bother me, but I encourage any sort of questions, because that's the conversation is important.
The conversation is important. And plus, for you to be able to share your experiences it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Well, there's an
And
element
every
there
time
too.
you
Is
say
wisdom.
it, there's healing as well.
There's an element that I find with you in particular, Mathius, is that there's a wisdom that you have that many of us don't. Somebody will ask me, hey, I'm not just speaking of myself, speaking as a male. Somebody asks, hey, tells me, hey, this is what's going on. It's really sad and everything else. What we tend to do is try to fix it. And we say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. You don't do that.
Mm-mm.
You'll say things like, hey, you know what? We all make mistakes, and you're a better person for it. And, you know, you've got this wisdom about, I don't know where you got that, but we all learn from it just by your leadership and your encouragement and being a member of this connectivity that we have. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's my dad all day. You know, I was terrified of my dad, but all my dad ever did was sit down and talk to me. My mom's Hispanic, so she was the violent one, but you know, I was never scared of her. I was never scared of her, but my dad, just knowing that he would sit me down and talk to me, and like ever since I was like, I guess, little enough to understand and remember. I remember one time he sat me down and he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm just like you. I'm just older. And now that I have a little kid, and I'm like, holy shit, that's true. Cause I don't feel like I'm old. You know, I don't feel like I'm 42. I feel like I'm just a little kid still. Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, one thing about the Road Home Project, I've heard not once, not twice, but many times, the people that had undergone that project, that 30-day process or what, they come back, and I've heard this time and time again. And I'll quote it. They gave me my life back.
Yeah.
And I've heard that. I don't know. You probably heard the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
They gave me my life back. And I'm like, and then when you hear their story, you're like, whoa, went through a lot. And of course, that's a lot to deal with. But now Road Home gave me my life back.
You know, and that's something actually that I'm doing at Road Home program. Is that I'm starting an ambassadorship program. So we hear that a lot. And no matter how hard my team works as outreach coordinators, word of mouth is the strongest thing in the veteran community. If something's bad, we share it. And if it's good, I feel like we need to share it more, but we definitely share it. And so we're starting an ambassadorship program. We're going to have a hard launch at the beginning of next year. And we have them. I have 14 right now, spread over 9 different states. And just being able to spread the word, spread their story, and just talk to people about what their experience is, because like you said, it gave them their life back. And it's crazy because a lot of people, we go through this stuff and we feel like we don't deserve a good life because of whatever happened. But it's weird to think about how I was before I got help. It's difficult because I deserve to be happy, and I've never felt like I did before.
You know, what's really cool about being a part of a veterans organization is that, once again, we become a resource. The membership of our organizations is the resource. Yeah. We have so many different, like in the Marine Corps League, look, if you need a house, I've got a banker that knows how to navigate through the VA loan system. I've got an insurance guy that knows all the little ins and outs of what the little things that you're going to need, and do it with affordability. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes from there. If you want to generate a small business, we've got small business people that are in our crew, and everyone has that certain type of makeup, and it assists people in the transition of that confusion, wondering what the heck to do, that loss of mission, to reestablish that sense of mission by becoming involved and doing the things that we do. There's another mission. Our uniforms might be hung up and fading, but we have this new mission, and that's to serve other people, and we're doing it in this way. Yeah. And that is really slick. And one of the things about being part of this is that we meet guys like you guys. And the next thing you know, somebody says, hey, man, I'm really having a rough time. Come with me. I'm not going to take you to some psychiatrist who has a PhD that's never even met a vet. We're taking to the Road Home Project, the
Right.
Road Home program.
Right.
I'm going to take them over to the somebody I know at the VFW that will help them.
Right.
Or I need a home loan. Come on, let's go see so and so. I've got a guy just to talk to you. That's where we become the
Right.
resource.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's real people connection.
Right.
It's not, oh, just call a number.
right.
Yeah.
So my call out to veterans would be: look, if you're not a member of a veterans group, do so. Join.
Mhm.
If you're a business person in the community, or if you're a citizen in the community, don't forget what we do at the parades. We go to the schools. We are the last straw. We're the last crew out there that talks patriotism without politics. We talk Americanism and our culture and so forth without any kind of. We'll advance that love without any need to get it back, and we're the resource for the community as well. So I'm going to call out to the business community as well. A veterans group of your choice, it's worthy of your support.
Mhm.
And because of this reason, about the resource element,
Mhm.
and it's worthy of that, So, and what you guys do where you're at, so what you're doing here, this is part of that resource.
Yep.
Pretty fantastic stuff.
So back when I was commander for the VFW in Crystal Lake, where Josh is now the commander of Crystal Lake, we won a legislative award for membership. And what they did was they sent us to Washington, D.C., and for 7 days we got to walk the halls underneath the Capitol, talk to representatives of the House and the Senate about mental health, about veterans benefits, all of this. And that's what made me passionate about our organization, for the American Legion, for the VFW, for all these different veteran social organizations that are basically the tip of the spear that help. And that's my big thing with telling newer veterans. And that's the take I try to do, because I'm the membership chairman for the state of Illinois for VFW, is a lot of people like to push, hey, we have an awesome canteen, we've got a bar, we've got this and that. A lot of veterans, especially younger veterans, don't care about that. They want a sense of purpose. They want to help in the community, and they want to be involved and encompass their family into this as well, like into the fold. And I think that's what we need to make sure to explain to these people. Like, you joining, you're not just a number. You're literally helping people that aren't even out of the service yet, or widows that haven't even become widows yet. Your number means something. Your membership means something. And if we fall below 1 million, then we won't have that seat in front of the senators and the representatives of the House. Nobody will listen anymore. And then people are going to wonder, what about me? I got out. I'm hurt. Who's here to advocate for me? And those people were part of these organizations that you didn't want to be involved with. So I mean, that's my big thing, is I want people to understand. And I finally got my sister to join. She doesn't want to be part of any groups yet, but she sees the value in being part of something that will advocate for you. We have the youngest and the first female commander in chief, Carol Whitmore, absolutely amazing veteran. And she represents us in front of the Senate and the representatives of the House and things like that. And that's what's important, is like making sure that they honor the contract, and I think we've all seen what's going on with the Washington Post and things like that, how they're bad mouthing veterans and thinking that we're taking advantage of the system and things like that. It's crazy, and I've heard that ever since I got out, that you're so lucky. You're lucky you have, money coming in because of disability. You're lucky you had free school. First of all, the GI Bill wasn't free. We all paid into the GI Bill.
Right.
That's something that people don't talk about. Like, not everyone opted in for it. If you don't want to add some of your money to go toward the GI Bill and you wanted to keep it for snacks or whatever, like you had that opportunity, and everyone had the opportunity to go and join as well. My sister, when she was in community college, and she wanted to go to school. She didn't want to have a whole bunch of debt. I was like, consider going to the military. 2 years, get 4 years paid. She opted to do 6 years as a military police investigator. She's a badass woman. And, so, I mean, I think that's a big issue that we're having right now, is we've gotten so far removed that our leadership are not veterans, and people in their family are not veterans. And how are you going to be able to advocate for people that you don't even know what's going on anymore? It's crazy.
It's absolutely true. But
Wow.
so speaking of mental health and resources and everything like that, given that we just celebrated the 250th year for Marine Corps, Army, and Navy, what's next for the Marine Corps League in terms of events and doing outreach and
Oh my.
Toys for Tots, baby.
yeah.
Well, we got right now Toys for Tots is launching.
It's already launched.
Yep.
Mhm.
Last year, our representative for McHenry County is Daniel Bochek,
Mhm.
and he's done a phenomenal job with it. And last year, they raised, I understand, over 37,000 toys. So much
Yeah.
that they were not only able to make mission here, but they had a surplus. And what happened was Lake County apparently had a hard time,
Deficit.
and they actually were able to transfer over toys and enable them to make mission.
Yes.
So
6,000
kids were
toys.
taken care of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's
So
phenomenal.
so the Toys for Tots is being launched, and it's a worthy cause, and everyone knows about that. So as far as the Marine Corps League is concerned, one other project we have coming up is another. We started this about 2 years ago. The first one we are launched. We call it the Salute Under the Stars, and that is a camping event. That's a camping event. It's going to take place on June the 19th, the weekend of. That's
I did
Friday.
a flyer for that last year.
You
by
did.
the way.
You did a really awesome job. You did a really awesome job of building a
Good
flyer.
job.
So what we did was we
Sure,
reached
you
out.
see-
I took on the premise that that we needed to generate that connectivity, and part of that was that was the purpose behind it. It wasn't because we wanted the feather on it. I don't need feathers anymore. So anyway, and I don't think I ever did, but personally, but anyway, what we did was we started off. 1 year we had about maybe 6 people show up. Last year it was well over 100. This year we're going to tweak it up a bit. I talked to the people at the campground. They're going to give us a great big cooker. You can cook
Wow.
like 10 pigs in there if you want to, all at the same time. So we're gonna have a pig roast this year.
Wow.
So we're gonna involve
So
that.
we don't need to bring meat this time.
Well, let's see what
I'm not
happens.
bringing a
If you want
pig.
snacks,
You know, well, they don't.
We've got enough for everybody.
I'll be there.
Oh, that's amazing. So we're doing that. On top of that, Elite Veterans Outfitters, they took veterans out where we were the connected element where we reached out to the veterans community. Hey, who wants to go on Lake Michigan and go fishing? Or who wants to go to Lake Delavan and catch the bass and so on? With professional guides. They paid for it. The
Nice.
corporate community supports that group, and that supports these veterans going out and connecting again. And that now, mind you, once again, some civilian guy in a warehouse will say, "You guys are spoiled." If you knew how important that was
That's huge.
to reach that connectivity, they're going to talk and they say, "Oh, yeah, man, I had PTSD, whatever the case," and they're going to talk to that and what did you do? Wrote home, and okay, I never heard of them
lives.
before. That's where those types of things come in handy. But anyway, to answer your call, that's we've got Salute Under the Stars. We got more fishing excursions coming up. We've got the Toys for Tots programs, and we're constantly going out there to do certain things for the community. We're going to be doing bowling projects this year, and you name it. So
Don't forget
Fantastic.
Reefs Across America.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Well,
December
thank you.
13th.
December the 13th, the VFW and American Legion are going to be here in Crystal Lake at Union Cemetery. I think the ceremonial element starts at 11 a.m. sharp, where they're going to do prayers. They have the scouts out there. They're putting on the wreaths on the graves of the Blue Star, Gold Star veterans that are buried out there, and so on. And Marine Corps League, we're going to be at the
Ridgefield.
the
location.
Ridgeview Road Cemetery. That's where we're going to be doing that side of it on the same day in support of that project.
Mhm.
So yeah.
just another, just another good form of how we're collaborating together. with
Oh, man.
everybody. It's
And
phenomenal.
well, you've heard of the Gold Star Project that's underway right now.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I ran into a gentleman who was a historian, and his job, basically his volunteerism, was to seek out everyone that had died in the military serving Gold Star from World War I. So we all remember the Blue Star, Gold Stars. That started in World War I. If my son or daughter was in the military, you had a Gold Star flag or Blue Star flag on your window, and everybody knew. And if they got killed, that was embroidered with the Gold Star. And
Which
so
is interesting because I seen one that started off as a Blue Star.
Yep.
And they sewed the Gold Star on top of it. Where
That's
I've
right.
also seen where you have a Blue Star and then you can buy a Gold Star. But
Right.
traditionally, you started off with the Blue Star.
And they would give you the
Yeah,
gold
'cause-
star
Yeah.
to sew on you.
right. So anyway, he's now identified very close to 300 Gold Star recipients, if you want to call it that, throughout McHenry County. Now what they're doing is they're going to create like a QR code. They're on or near the site itself. There's going to be like a plaque at the at somewhere in the cemeteries. It's already, if you take a look at the Union Cemetery website here, you can see the name of the recipient, click on it and get a bio. And you find out that, hey, this guy used to be the quarterback at such and such a school here in town. Now you're putting a name and a face to the individual and where they passed away, how they died, and those type of things without all the gory details, but during their time of service. This is a great project. What we want to do is expand this throughout McHenry County, at all of the cemeteries throughout McHenry County, and do so in such a way that it's going to inspire everyone else, every state in the union, to do the same exact thing. So how better way to remember and don't forget our past so that we don't make those mistakes and all those little philosophical arrangements. That's what's going on. And guess who's doing that? Again, the veteran community.
Well,
That's
I
right.
think it's
Save the date, September 26, 2026.
I also think it's important, being able to share their story as well.
Yeah.
Of, not only their service to our country, but what they did when they came back or who they were before they went over there.
Right.
Mhm.
We got all that. World War II, there was bakers, there was mechanics, they're all on the battlefield,
Yeah.
doing different things. And I think a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, maybe I assume they kind of forget they had lives before they went over there.
Oh, brother.
And,
You know what we do?
There's so
We
people.
What's really cool, and I'm sure you guys do the same thing. We get in our little cute uniforms. We go over to the nursing homes, and we in advance. We tell them, okay, get all your veterans and bring them into the lunchroom. And all of a sudden, in the lunchroom, we are Army, Navy, Air Force, all these guys, and you meet the most fascinating people. There was a lady that was 103 years old. She says, I was one of the first females to join the United States Navy. And I went, really? And I'm talking to this guy. I was General George Patton's cook.
Wow.
This is in McHenry.
Yep.
And
So
you don't
cool.
realize these people are all around us because they're forgotten. And so what we did by going in there was to show them you're not forgotten.
Yeah.
And you know how much that meant to those veterans in that room?
Oh, a lot.
I'm telling you, when I walked out, I walked over by the flag and I hung on to that flag and I bowed my head. Thank you, God. And I bawled like a baby. We brought home what we're all about.
Yeah.
And that was a great example of the service that we do for our veterans in our community. We bring them back.
Oh yeah, and
So-
you guys have a lot of passion behind that too.
Well, so do you.
Oh yeah.
And without you, we're just a little part of it.
Right.
But when you put together, we're just a piece of the puzzle. And when we put all of the puzzle together, we've got a Rembrandt picture. And that's where my crayons come in. Okay, you guys give me the crayons, and I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna tell all you folks out there too. When it comes to painting a picture of battle,
Yeah, use
we're
all.
gonna paint that picture, and it's gonna be that's the crayons we use to paint that picture. And we the Marine Corps, we paint a Rembrandt battle picture
Inside the lines.
inside.
No,
Inside.
And it's all purple.
it's all purple. Well, speaking of that larger group, Mathias being the district commander,
Yeah.
We got Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy coming up as
Yep.
a next event that we have.
Yeah, so every year we do a scholarship. It just ended on October 31st, but every year. So, I mean, if anyone out there has a junior higher or a high schooler, We do Patriot Pen, which is it targeted at junior hires, and it's always just a patriotic theme. This year was, what are you doing to show patriotism and support for your country? Amazing. I love that theme. And so junior hires, 300 to 500 words. They have to write an essay.
400. My son was very upset about
Oh,
that.
3 to 4?
He did.
Oh, they changed it?
400, and so there was 467 words, and then we looked at it, and it's between 300 and 400
Oh,
plus or minus
Okay.
5.
Oh, they changed
So
it.
I have to get rid of sentences.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well,
They're like, well, Mathius wasn't reading. That's what
Usually
happens.
it's like you gotta add
And-
more.
Hey,
So, and then, every post has a different amount monetarily, what they can give winners. Our post being a very small post, actually probably the smallest post in all of our district. We're very generous when it comes to winners. So, I mean, our junior hires, first place wins $250. Our high schoolers, they have to do a 3 to 5 minute essay, unless that's also different, but, a 3 to 5 minute essay.
I think
And basically the same. This year was the same thing. Normally they're a little different, but this year was the same theme. And so I'm actually a national judge. I was honored to be invited to be a national judge this year. So the winner from our post level is $500. Then they go to district, then they go to state, and then they go to national. Our district's pretty good at making winners, or like cultivating winners. And so last year, Grays Lake, our post in Grays Lake, shout out to them. They had Michael Magnetta's team. They won first for junior hires. They won first in state, and then I think she was like 9th in the nation. So
Wow.
and then our high schoolers did very, very well as well.
District.
Yeah, First District did a great job last year. But the winner nationally, it's $35,000 for a high schooler and $5,000 for a junior hire. So definitely amazing. So we do that all the time. It's really hard to connect with
What were those
schools.
numbers again?
$35,000 for the high school winner, and then $5,000 for the junior hire.
And this is an endeavor that is nationwide.
Nationwide.
That
So
is awesome.
anybody, and you don't have to be, you don't have to be connected to any VFW. You literally can just look and see where the closest one is. Or if you know of anybody that's a VFW member, you don't have to go to the closest one to you either, which is great. Coming up to the holiday season, one thing we've been doing for over 50 years, and it was one of the people that started it was actually part of the Marine Corps League as well. Our chaplain, we do Operation Christmas Cheer. So we always look for donations. We look for assistance, volunteering, but we shop and assemble 200 to 250 boxes. They go to 6 different wards within the Lovell VA center. So we were able to go there and actually give them out to patients. Last year was the first year since COVID that we were actually able to hand some boxes to them,
That's
which is
fantastic.
pretty amazing. And then I just wanted to mention one thing about your salute under the stars. Amazing time. My son and I had an absolutely fantastic time, and I'm still, my son's 7. I'm still trying to learn how to be a good dad, and a lot of it is failing. And part of it was on that trip. So we were, they have an inflatable island in the middle of the lake there. And so my son's not a very strong swimmer, and he didn't have a life vest on. And I was like, yeah, go ahead and jump off the 20-foot tower. That makes a lot of sense. And so I'm waiting at the bottom in the water. I just had shoulder surgery, and he goes to leap off to do a cannonball, which he just learned that summer, and it wasn't inflated all the way. So he went to jump. He ended up doing a 20-foot belly flop, and he held that. It was a pretty much perfect belly flop. Yeah, he didn't try to tuck or anything. It was he was just like this, just like a bird. He looked like a Canadian Air Force. Just he straight on his face and his belly, and he was very upset. I held him, and he's trying to, when they're scared, they grab onto you, and I'm like, buddy, I need my arm to swim because it was deep over there. So I got him over there. He stopped crying. I'm like, are you okay? He goes, should I do it again?
God I love that.
Oh, he's so brave, man. He's so brave. I'm like, how about we take a break for a minute? Daddy's freaking out inside. I need to calm down.
Well,
Well-
speaking of that, I mean, it was a fantastic event.
It was a
Our
lot of
kids
fun.
Got to hang
A
out.
lot of
It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for coming, Mathias and Rick. Josh, do you have any closing thoughts? Any closing things you want to say?
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share, follow the QR code. But yeah, thank you for coming out. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
I definitely like that our community is working together and collaborating a whole lot more. And I'm looking forward to what we're doing in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Going
Yeah.
back
Me
to
too.
Dancing with the Stars, salute under the stars. Hopefully, Rick's got his karaoke machine there. Looking forward
A
to
new
it.
event.
Right. Karaoke with vets.
There you go.
Sounds
Thank you
terrible.
again. No.
Thank you. My pleasure for being here.
Yeah, thank you,
And
guys.
I
Thank
feel
you.
honored. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.